but this year I developed a special appreciation for it. So, it's always been the case, you know, that you sail into a hole, or the powerboat passes in front of you, and knocks the wind out of your sails, you attack the wrong way, and you come in very frustrated. At least it always happened to me. This year there was none of that. And it was a rough year. Everybody will acknowledge. It was a very rough year, but not for me. It was a fabulous year. So, I was caused to think about how people have been doing this for 100 years, 110 years, 120 years, and that's what this is really about. I met a guy a few years ago. His name was Knight Boyer. He was up in years. He was a retired Air Force colonel, and he was living in England with his family where he had met his wife. And I met him because he was a witness in one of my cases. And he came over here and testified, and his testimony was all about his very, very vivid and very, very joyful memories of being a child on Lake Apacon. He was testifying about things that he could remember 75 years before. He could remember particular rock outcroppings, and he could remember days swimming in Lake Apacon. And he told me that his grandfather, that his memories of his childhood on Lake Apacon was 75 years or more from when he was telling me these stories. And he said that his grandfather sailed on Lake Apacon and had trophies from the Lake Apacon Yacht Club. And I said, you know, I get to travel to England once in a while on business. I'd love to come and visit you and see your trophies. Of course, I never got to do that. But his wife was nice enough to remember this conversation that he and I had. And when he passed away recently, she got in touch with me and offered me these trophies. So, she didn't offer them to me. She offered them to the Lake Apacon Yacht Club. And I told them we had a perfect place for them. The Connell display cases, I thought would be the perfect place. And their children agreed that this was the perfect place for these trophies. The guy who won these trophies was named George Knight. And his parents operated the Llewellyn Hotel in the 1880s on the south shore of Great Cove. Marty Kane, I sent Marty Kane pictures of these trophies, and he did some research, and I made some notes, and I have to consult with him, because otherwise I'll mess this up. But he tells us that in the 1880s there were a number of sporting clubs which came and went on the lake. Among them were the Hopatcong Yacht and Canoe Club and the Hopatcong Lake and Field Club. That club had its big regatta in August of 1899 and sailed from a dock on Bertrand Island. And in the same year, a club was started called the Hopatcong Junior Yacht Club, and it was founded by George Knight, who was the first Commodore. And it ran its races from his family's Llewellyn Hotel. And as its members aged, it evolved into a full-scale club, and in 1901 became the Hopatcong Yacht and Canoe Club. And its declared purpose was to advance yacht racing on the lake, and they had regular Saturday competitions. The Hopatcong Yacht and Canoe Club and the Hopatcong Lake and Field Club competed against each other through 1904. After which the two clubs decided to merge, with the Commodore of the Hopatcong Lake and Field Club becoming the first Commodore of the Lake Apacon Yacht Club. That was R.L. Edwards. So, Mrs. Boyer sent these cups, these trophies from England, and they've been really to the four corners of the globe. They tell me these first two are pewter. and it's inscribed Hopatcong Yacht and Canoe Club, Canoe Sailing Race, Labor Day, won by George W. Knight. It has a burgee on it that looks a little bit like ours with the initials HY and CC, and it's dated Labor Day, 1901. This is also pewter, and it's inscribed Hopatcong Lake and Field Club. It has a much different burgee with the initials HL and FC. Canoe Sailing Race won by George W. Knight, August 23rd, 1902. This one is inscribed LHYC. Canoe Sailing Race, won by George W. Knight, August 29th, 1903. This one is really special. Lake Hopatcong Yacht Club with our burgee, won by George W. Knight, August 4th, 1906. So thank you to the Boyer and Knight families for taking these with them all around the world for 110 years, for remembering us, and for sending them home.
Aren't we lucky?